finally in the house. My God. It seemed like every day at 5 of, we've been experiencing some new technical difficulties as we're upgrading our equipment. We got now all the highest tech equipment, and what we probably did was we got to check with NASA because we probably launched a space shuttle. Because our equipment can do so much more stuff than we know how to make it do, and it's no telling what we did, but we finally figured out how to get on and get right, and happy to be here. What's going on, people?
Oh, man, I'm feeling really good after my night last night, man. Everything was going my way, kid.
Dude, I had a really good night. The LA Kings don't let me down late, but outside of that, man, I had a really good night. For you guys that listen to the show, man, the most of the leans were right on point.
Oh, absolutely. And OJFB, my Lord, what a way to start off Freaky Friday, man, with that. Got a beautiful woman with a black top and white shorts.
Son.
Oh, wow. All right, I'm going to let my first guest in already.
Okay.
Good morning. Do we have Mr. Dan Strafford on the line this morning?
You do.
How we doing, man?
We're doing well. Looking forward to the weekend. NBA in full swing, so lots going on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know what? We just got on the air. We had some technical difficulties. I know you do a show, too. I'm sure you probably experienced some stuff here and there. We just got on the air about 3 minutes ago, so we're fired up and ready to rock, brother.
Big time.
I am well versed in technical problems, so yeah, I understand what you guys are going through.
On another note, though, we do think that we launched a space shuttle.
Oh, man. All right, Dan, so last time you were on, it was myself and you, and now I have the Dream back on with us, and we're ready to rock, and we're going to talk some NBAs. We're going to talk some NFL maybe that's coming up. We got about, I'd say, we got my next caller calling in about 15 minutes, so it gives us plenty of time to go through and talk our little thing. But, Dan, did you, before we even get into anything, did you guys get a chance to look at Baylor's backup quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, last night? Played pretty well. Dan, did you?
He's the future. I mean, the thing about him is he was highly recruited. This isn't a plug and play where it's necessarily a downgrade. And the kid can throw. Maybe in the fourth quarter you saw a little bit of youth there where he wasn't really making the exact plays that he needed to close out that win. They got it anyway. But he found Corey Coleman, and when you have somebody like Corey Coleman on your team, you get him the ball, and everything is right in the world.
Corey Coleman was outstanding last night, man. And what was baffling me is how they weren't covering him. I was like, oh, my God. How do you let this guy just free? You know what I'm saying? You got like a 3rd and 10 situation, or 3rd and 11, whatever it was, and the corner runs all the way back like 20 yards deep and lets Corey Coleman just pick up an easy first down. It was crazy.
College defenses are strange. You know, a lot of college coaches like to keep things in front of them, like to not give up the big play. You see it all the time on 3rd and long. They drop back 15 yards, as you just said, and leave the first down marker wide open. And these quarterbacks are becoming better and better over time. You're not having as much youth involved. These guys are coming in ready to play, and they can make those throws when they need to.
Absolutely. 419 yards, 23 for 33 with 3 touchdowns, Dream.
No doubt.
Kid looked pretty good. He looked calm, cool, and collective back in the pocket, man. So
he did. K-State's defense, does leave a lot to the imagination, though, as far as, their coverage and putting any type of pressure on him, as Dan said. But, he did look good in his first outing. He didn't look crazy, especially because it got tight towards the end.
Got it. Yes, definitely. It did get tight towards the end. But you know what? You got a home team underdog on Primetime Dream. You know how that works. And you did plug K-State. They said you weren't mad at anybody if you were to take the 17 points. So, hey, big ups to you on that. So, Dan, what we're going to do is and by the way, before we get into any NBA, Dak Prescott and the Mississippi State Bulldogs rocked and rolled and got the job done and won by more than double digits, Dream, as I alluded to yesterday. So, all right. So let's get right into it, Dan. So we are in NBA. NBA is in full swing. You are a fantasy beast out there. And how you making out so far with this NBA season?
NBA's been good, not great. I'm never all that great at the start of any season. Last season you can glean enough information from, but often you're trying to piece things together. It is a situation where you roster Steph Curry and you're in a good spot to win from there. He's been an absolute beast to start the year. But it's been pretty much 50-50, maybe a 55% win percentage right now. Nothing too crazy. Starting to get my feet. A lot of my research goes into college football and NFL right now. So I play NBA when I have time, and it's every day because that's how this works out. But I play a little lighter volume to start the year.
Gotcha. Are you finding yourselves now? Like some of the guys who are up and coming guys. I noticed like some nights they're showing up and then other nights they're not. Obviously, it's very inconsistent right now, especially at the start of the season, as I think you have a lot of coaching staffs, plug and playing with certain teams and certain matchups, trying to see how the teams fit as far as chemistry is concerned. Are you finding a problem with inconsistency?
With young players, absolutely.
Right.
I mean, you get somebody like Karl Anthony Towns who it is a man-child. I don't know how else to describe it. He's from not too far from me in New Jersey, where he played high school ball, and then obviously went out to Kentucky. So I've been able to watch him for a while. He's been NBA ready for what seems like 10 years now, and obviously that's a little bit sarcastic, but he can play, and I think he's a consistent big man who knows how to play the game and will be pretty consistent with a good floor. But yeah, you're always going to run into with these rookies, guys who have had their way with opponents up until now. These guys who on the AAU tour and in high school and college were the best of the best, and now they're playing against Steph Curry and even, LeBron and KD and Russ Westbrook, and that's a different night in, night out grind. So I think, I try to stay away from youth to start the season, see where they shake out. Typically, guys who were highly touted last year and didn't have the best rookie season are a little bit cheaper to start the year as sophomores.
Right.
So I'll try to keep an eye on them, what their playing time is, what their shot volume is. You look at some of the little bit of a segue here, but you look at someone like Evan Fournier down in Orlando. To start the year, I didn't expect this out of him, but he's shooting so much that the volume and the efficiency is there that you kind of have to play him, and his price tag's been cheap enough. And those are the sort of guys I'm trying to keep an eye on.
Right, exactly. What do you how's Whiteside from the Heat working out for you?
I mean, Hassan Whiteside, I keep expecting to fall off, but he is a rebounding and block shot beast, and he is part of, and that's something people forget about fantasy overall and daily fantasy is it's not just points, especially in the NBA. Like those rebounds, assists, steals, block shots, those are all part of it. And if you're playing Roto season long, it's part of it too. But those are points that you don't get from, a street like Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
Carmelo Anthony is infuriating from a daily fantasy perspective because the skill set is there, but if he doesn't score 35, you're not getting value out of his price tag. Whereas somebody like Whiteside or somebody like Draymond Green out in Golden State, these are guys who put up stat lines across the board. So maybe they score 10 points, but they also give you 10 boards, 6 assists, 4 blocks, and all of a sudden you have a high upside guy for the price tag. I love Whiteside. I don't get to roster him as much as I do because I typically try to go cheaper at center. But I when I can, I try to get Whiteside in the lineup.
Is he an expensive? So he's one of the upper echelon centers.
He's been mid-tier, so you get into pricing. It depends on the night, obviously, but his price tag's risen. He's up to $8K tonight on FanDuel, and on DraftKings, he's at $7,500. So out of how much they're there, he's 4th expensive on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, he is 5th most expensive. So he's
are you able to use are you able to use like a coupon for those as well?
That'd be great. A one-time 5% off. Yeah.
Buy one, get one free. Like you get Whiteside and then you get like, I don't know, Porzingis.
Give me Porzingis, yeah.
They'll throw in Kostas Koufos from Sacramento for free. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Porzingis has had a lot of rebounds. I mean, the 7'3", character out there. I mean, he's kind of a little awkward out there at times, but for the most part, he's definitely been pulling down a bunch of rebounds.
The funny thing about Porzingis, and I'm a Knicks fan, full disclosure here, no Knicks fan when he was drafted wanted him. Let's be honest. It was, why are we doing this to ourselves again? Why are we going with the foreign national? Everybody remembers Frederick Weiss from many years ago. But you watch him play, and he seems to have a sense for where he is on the court, which Weiss didn't have. And he's much more athletic. He's not just a big body. Anybody who's 7'3" is going to be awkward. You know, it's just the nature of human nature. But he's fun to watch, and he gets after it, and that's what I appreciate. His game's not totally refined yet. Yes, he's going to get pushed around on the block. You know, when he's facing someone like Greg Monroe or Dwight Howard or these guys who are 6'11", 250 and muscle, he's going to have a rough time. But that's why they have Robin Lopez. You know, let Robin Lopez bang with those guys. Let Porzingis open it up and play against a 3 or a smaller 4. And I think he's going to, over the course of the season, have some gigantic nights where he puts up 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks, and then nights where he disappears as most rookies go through.
Wow, great stuff. And guys, you know, I'm glad that you guys are going back and forth a little bit because I am enjoying Freaky Friday right now. I'm gonna be honest with you, Dan. I don't know if
you're not aware of a contest we have, and we're gonna keep it under wraps. We're not gonna be prescient to our integrity by telling you about the contest that we have going on behind the scenes on Twitter.
Well, he's on Twitter. I'm sure you can see a little bit of what's going on anyway. But you know, basically, all the most beautiful women in the world are sent to us on Twitter on Fridays, and my page is just absolutely stacked right now. So Dan, any sleepers in the NBA as far as teams are concerned that you think that are going to make a run going into the playoffs and possibly make a little bit of noise? I see this Toronto team is doing their thing a little bit. I saw Detroit Pistons were 3-0 before they got that first loss. Any surprise teams you're looking at?
The thing about the NBA is I think by the end of the season, it pretty much shakes out to where you expect it to be. You're going to have the Hawks. You're going to have the Cavs in the East. I think there is a question of who's going to be in the bottom tier in the playoffs of the East. I think the Knicks could be an intriguing team if everything clicks. Same with the Heat. If everything clicks again for the Heat with Bosh and Wade, there's somebody who I think you have to at least consider. The story is out west. The story is that pretty much 15 of the teams out west could probably win the East yet again. And between Golden State and the Clippers and the Spurs, I mean, with Kawhi Leonard stepping up and becoming a bona fide all-NBA threat, you now have Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker in support roles with LaMarcus Aldridge there too. That's scary good. Yeah. And you know they're the kind of team that will sort of lay in wait all season. They'll be the lion on the prowl who's going to wait for the exact moment to strike, and come late March, all of a sudden the Spurs are going to go on a run, and we're going to have to watch them into the Western Conference Finals again. I think there's talent in a place like Minnesota. Obviously, losing Flip Saunders is a storyline that we'll have to take into account, though we can't really quantify it in any way. But there's some real talent on that roster, and I think if they can get to that point we were talking about before about gelling and understanding each other and being young players together in the NBA, they could be intriguing. I think Memphis's time has passed them by. I don't think they're going to make any sort of run. I think Gasol played at such a high level last year that he's not going to do that again, and they're getting a year older, and the league's moving away from their ground and pound sort of style, and it's a lot of shots going up, a lot of three-pointers. So you're going to see the likes of Golden State and the Clippers continue to win big games.
Absolutely.
I think the Grizzlies, and as you mentioned it, I think that, there were a couple intriguing trades with the Grizzlies. The one that I think hurt them the most was getting rid of Rudy Gay when they did. And then I think that in this season, in the offseason this year, they didn't do enough to bring in – they needed that last dynamic to their offense of a pure shooter, to take a little bit of the stress off Conley and a little bit, when you can't get it pounded in deep, just a guy that was an outside threat. That now that they've become a little bit, I guess you could say, two-dimensional, this Grizzlies team is. And it's sad because I thought that they were right there.
Yeah, it sure seemed it. They sure seemed like the roster that was going to piece it together and be sort of the anti-fast-paced team, be able to play tough defense, hit the ball in the low post to Zach Randolph and Gasol. But you're right, they didn't add a threat. You can't trust Tony Allen. You're not going to trust Courtney Lee to be your shooting guard that's going to take you forward. I mean, the fact that Vince Carter is still in the NBA is also blowing my mind. But the fact of the matter is, I agree. They didn't add that extra piece that would change their dynamic and change how they do things. Brandon Wright's an intriguing piece if they get him more minutes. He's talented. He's been a journeyman thus far because of personal problems and because of lack of effort from what I've read. But, yeah, I just don't see them making the push, and I think they're actually going to regress a little bit more as the season goes on.
Agreed. The thing with Vince Carter you got to remember is that, he didn't play a lot of seasons at the beginning of his career, always being hurt. So he's still actually kind of fresh.
I just think he's a vampire. That's all it is.
Absolutely. Guys, what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to add somebody else into the group call here because since we're all on here, we're all talking NBA, I'm going to welcome Sean Devaney from Sporting News. What's going on, Sean? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, man. Thank you very much for taking the call. We appreciate it. And we did have some issues last time that you tried to get in, but we appreciate you rescheduling. And you are talking to myself. My name is Rob the Mad Hatter. You have the Dream on the line, and you have Dan Strafford, fantasy beast as far as the NBA is concerned. And could you just let us know a little bit about yourself, your resume, and what you do, please?
Well, I've been covering the NBA for Sporting News for, I can't even count anymore. I guess it's 14 years now. Right. So that's been my beat now for quite some time. I've also written some books. Got a new one out, by the way. It's called Fun City. It's about Joe Namath and New York in the 60s. So there's that. But the NBA has certainly been my beat now for quite a while.
Fantastic. Hey, Dan, did you want to stay on with us a little bit?
Sure, I can. Yeah, I can hang out for a bit.
All right, fantastic. That's great, man, because we got some games that we'd like to just talk about right out the gate with you guys, if you don't mind. Because I know that there's a couple of games. I looked in my email, and there was a couple of games that you wanted to discuss tonight. You're going to one tonight, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to see the Celtics try to right their ship a little bit, and not an easy task because they're playing the Wizards, and the Wizards have actually played pretty well. But, I am interested in the Celtics in terms of where they are right now. And, when you look at the roster, you could kind of see coming into the year that they were going to have, Brad Stevens was really going to have his hands full trying to figure out a rotation, trying to figure out how to use all these guys that they've got. A lot of them seem like repetitive pieces. And certainly that's been the case so far. So I'm very curious to see, as he kind of shifts through, what groups work well together. I don't think they have a clear handle on that yet. I think that's been a real problem for them.
Gotcha. And Dan, on your end of it, is there any fantasy pieces off the Celtics that you recommend, or is there anybody that you use from the Celtics?
Yeah, I mean, when Isaiah Thomas is getting the minutes, he's always an intriguing option from DFS perspective. He got the start the other night with Marcus Smart out and put up some big numbers. We know he likes to shoot. He likes to shoot at high volume. So when he's out there 25, 30 minutes and maybe even more, you get an opportunity to roster him there. You have to keep an eye on price tags. Guys like David Lee and Jared Sullinger, if their price tag drops low enough and they're getting minutes, they're going to give you 12 and 6 or 12 and 8 on most nights, and that will give you a bump and be able to pay for somebody else somewhere else.
Fantastic.
Gotcha.
Fantastic. Sean, it's pretty exciting you're going to this game tonight over there in Boston. Taking a look at it, I mean, they're pretty much, Vegas has them pretty evenly matched here. So it's kind of like a toss-up as far as who's going to win this particular game. Boston being 1-3, 1-2 at home. Washington 3-1 and 2-0 away. Sean, any predictions on this game? You think who do you think is going to emerge tonight?
Yeah, I do think the Wizards are just playing better right now. And like I say, I think, listen to the Celtics coming out of practice the other day. They were very much Isaiah Thomas said, we need to make some changes here. And if you're looking at the first week of the year and you've got, one of your leaders saying we need to make changes, that's kind of that does not portend good things, at least in the short term. I think they'll get it figured out and turned around. I just don't think it's going to happen tonight against a Wizards team that, like I say, I think they're playing pretty well. I think they're pretty well locked in. Don't forget they've got a big game next Tuesday, and that's when Kevin Durant goes to Washington. And the players on that Wizards team are a little sick and tired of hearing about Kevin Durant and the possibility of him going to the Wizards. So I think that they're really focused and really trying to get off to a good start here, just because they want to kind of put all that talk to rest before it becomes a big issue.
The thing with the Celtic team, though, is that I would, obviously, Celtic fans, if you're out there, just hold it down for a minute, because when you look at their schedule and you look that they lost to the Raptors, that's not a bad loss at all, because the Raptors are good. You lose to the Spurs. Obviously, the Spurs are the Spurs. The only question mark you would have was the loss to the Pacers, but you were in the Pacer game because you only lost by 2 points. So I think there's a big upside to this team. Yeah, I don't necessarily know that the Celtics are going to be a juggernaut, you know what I mean? But they've always, even last year, they were always pesty, played, semi-solid defense, and they're definitely going to be improved, I think. So, you look at them tonight, and it's way too early for them to get discouraged, because I think that, unfortunately, their preseason, record, it probably got them thinking that they were going to just be a lot better than they were. You know what I mean? They had a really good preseason. But, you look at the teams that they played right out of the gate, and there's no need to hold your head in their respects. I think that they, just got to hold the line.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. And I do think in the end, look, they're going to be about a 500 team, maybe 44 wins, somewhere in that range. And you're right. They had a great preseason. Don't forget that they closed the year. I believe they were 20-10 in their last 30 games, so they were really feeling good. But, sometimes, you add two new pieces. You add David Lee and Amir Johnson, pretty good veteran guys who expect to have some sort of role, and you drop them in with Sullinger and Olenek and Zeller and all these guys who had sort of established their roles. And I still think that's what their problem is right now. Is they're still a little confused about, okay, who's going to do what here? And obviously you got five bigs who feel like they should be playing. No, I'm going to play. So, I do think that right now it's just a matter of trying to figure out that rotation. Obviously they're going to, down the road try to make some moves in terms of, breaking up the log jam and seeing if they can add some other pieces. But, here in the early season, I think they're still trying to figure out that rotation, and that's really where their issue is right now.
Got it. I'm looking at another game, Dream, and Dream, big ups to you for calling the Miami Heat last night, who laid it the smack it down. Great call on that one.
The Heat is one of the teams I've been talking about. They're going to be they're my team this year. I really like them as a sleeper. I like what they did on the offseason. Like you said, if you can keep Bosh and Wade healthy, which makes me I want to ask another question, Dan. In the fantasy world, what's a player like Dwayne Wade cost you? Is he a high tier?
He tends to be higher tier. He's the name value. So let's see, Wade checks in at 7,100 on FanDuel. That's sixth most expensive for shooting guard, right around Brad Beal and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kobe Bryant's a little bit more expensive on DraftKings. Probably the same situation. Let me check quickly for you. He's right around Brad Beal and Kobe Bryant there at 6,800. So middle tier, middle upper tier. You have somebody like James Harden is 10K on DraftKings. Dwayne Wade is 6,800. So to give you some perspective. Now
I gotta imagine that Wade. I would think that Wade probably is he more of a letdown? Because sometimes I know Wade can go crazy, but for the most part, he never really has staggering numbers from a fantasy prospect.
He's not a letdown per se, again, if his price tag fits in what you're trying to do.
Okay.
He's the kind of guy, I'm looking for him in high-paced games where he's going to be shooting high volume. If he's playing a team like Memphis or another one of the slower-paced teams, Brooklyn or Utah, I tend to stay away because I know it's going to be a 92-88 sort of game, a lower-scoring game, whereas if he's playing against the Golden States or against the Clevelands or against Oklahoma City, the volume of shots are going to be there because the other team's taking a lot more. So his price tag then changes a little bit and becomes a little bit depressed, and I would take a shot on him.
Got it. Now looking at the matchup tonight, guys. So we've got Miami going into the Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers are 2-3, 1-2 at home. Miami is 3-2, 1-1 away. Miami, this is another one that's pretty much a toss-up. Miami -1. Sean, any thoughts on this particular game? What to look for? All that stuff, please.
Yeah, I think what, just kind of piggyback on what Dan said is Miami has played a very slow pace this year. I think they're 27th or something like that in pace, and that really does slow down a guy like Dwayne Wade. I think going against the Pacers, who like to go small, I saw them against the Celtics the other night, and that was how they won. They went small, and the Celtics couldn't keep up with them. So they're going to try to go small. They're going to try to pick up the pace, and that's where I think a guy like Dwayne Wade can make a difference in a game like this. So, when they go slow, when Miami has to slow down, you're going to see a lot of pick and roll with Goran Dragic and Chris Bosh. That's going to be their bread and butter over the course of this year. But against a team like Indiana, I would really look for them to try to match their pace and try to get Dwayne Wade out in the open floor, where we all know, even at his age and with his health history, he can still play in the open floor. So I think that's going to be the real key there for Miami is matching the pace, especially getting Dwayne Wade out on some fast breaks with some easy buckets.
All right. Now, you said, Dan, back to you, Kobe Bryant, $11K. It's obviously anybody who spent that is obviously right now in fits about the production that they're getting out of the Mamba. So, that being said, though, there is a bright spot for the Mamba as they are coming in tonight to play the Brooklyn Nets, who I have said I think the Brooklyn Nets are possibly the worst team in basketball.
It's certainly a possibility there. They do not seem like a team you want to target in any way, shape, or form. Bryant's price tag has dropped since the start of the season because he's been bad. He's the kind of guy, and here's the thing about daily fantasy. You play cash games where you're trying to double up your money or win a little bit, and then there are the large-scale tournaments where it's trying to win a large-scale amount of money. In a large-scale tournament where you're trying to differentiate your lineup, somebody like Kobe Bryant can be a boom or bust candidate where you roster him on the right night and he happens to be the Kobe Bryant of old, you'll be that much better off for having him. I just don't trust him from a cash game, sort of a floor perspective right now. In that game, I'm actually looking at Jarrett Jack as a possibility. He's 6,100 on FanDuel, and the Lakers' defense has been atrocious so far this season against all positions, but especially against point guards, and that goes back to last year as well. So if I'm targeting someone in that game specifically, I may take a longer look at Jarrett Jack at 6,100 on FanDuel than Kobe Bryant at 7,500 on FanDuel.
Gotcha. All right. And Sean, what's your thoughts on the Lakers-Nets matchup tonight?
Yeah, that's one that might hurt your eyes. I mean, neither of those teams is playing particularly well, and I think you could see both of those coaches eventually on the hot seat by mid-season. With good reason. They just haven't got anything going right now. The young guys for the Lakers that you're hoping to see some breakthroughs. With Russell, with Randall. Randall hasn't been too bad, but with Russell and Clarkson, you haven't really seen it yet. And they are struggling defensively. That's been pretty bad. And of course, the Nets. They look like a team that's just sort of checked out. They're just waiting for the next hammer to drop, and then that's probably going to be a Joe Johnson trade at some point during this year. And then the rebuild will have to come. Of course, it'll have to come without draft picks because they traded them all away. So it's a tough situation in Brooklyn right now, and it's really hard to see where the light is at the end of the tunnel. I know we're in the first week of the year, but even still, man, it's not going well in Brooklyn. It's hard to see where that's going to change.
Well, one of these teams is going to get their first win of the season. 0-4 Lakers, 0-5 Brooklyn Nets, and Brooklyn Nets is actually favored -3, Dream.
And I'm leaning. I think Kobe and I call Kobe and the Supremes are going to get their first win tonight.
One more game I want to talk about with you guys is, we have a lot of listeners. One of our biggest cities, actually the biggest cities as of late, is Houston, Texas, that listens to our show. And the Houston Rockets are coming into Sacramento tonight. And Houston is favored in this matchup. And taking a look at it here, Houston is 2-3, 0-1 away, and Sacramento is 1-4, 1-2 at home. Sean, Houston versus Sacramento. Do we think that the Houston Rockets are going to get the job done tonight or what?
Yeah, I think we're going to see about 300 points scored in this game because, Sacramento, the one thing that they've done is that George Karl likes, of course, is really picked up the pace. And they rank number one, actually, in pace. So they are moving the ball, and they're getting up and down. Now, having said that, they're not playing any defense, and you don't have DeMarcus Cousins. So, right there, your back is going to be up against the wall. I think Houston had a terrible start. Obviously, James Harden, his first 3 games, you could take any one of those first 3 games that he had to start this year and put them into last year, and they would have been among his worst games last year. He had 3 of those to start the year. So I think that was a big reason they got off to that 0-3 start. They've had some injuries. I do think that they've started to kind of put that behind them, won their last 2 games, and I don't think Sacramento is ready to give them much of a challenge. I do think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, but I do think that without DeMarcus Cousins, the Kings just don't have the depth to make up for his loss, and until he comes back, probably early next week, until he comes back, they're going to be in some trouble.
Yeah, both defenses, Houston's giving up 109 points a game and Sacramento 112. Wow.
Now, Dan, we know what James Harden's about as he is the number one. What else on the Houston Rocket team does this guy who's interested in fantasy, who else do you look at on this Rocket team? I know you can't want Dwight Howard.
No, Howard's too much of a question mark with the back issue. Now, if he's out for any reason, if they decide to rest him in this matchup without Cousins in the lineup and they decide they can go with Clint Capella or something along those lines, those guys immediately become options because they're so cheap. Their entire front court that fills in there, you have Capella, and then power forward, you can check out Montrezl Harrell, who fills in as well. They're both minimum salary on both sides or near minimum salary, so they immediately jump up as being options if Howard happens to be out. I'm not rostering Harden because he's been so volatile, and I don't really know what to make of him. On the other side, I do like Rudy Gay a lot. His usage rate skyrockets when DeMarcus Cousins isn't in. He likes to take shots when Cousins isn't in. And I've liked what Rondo's done so far this year. I think Rondo's in a comfortable place, and he's doing things on the offensive side of the ball, and his price tag's still a little bit depressed. Now, Rondo's not going to score points for you, and you need to be okay with steals and rebounds and assists from him and sort of sweating that out as the game goes on. But as Sean said, this is going to be a very high-scoring game, so you're going to have a lot of people owned in this one. It's just going to be picking the right ones and constructing your roster around them properly.
Gotcha.
Right. Cool. Guys, you are listening right now to Sean Devaney. It's Devaney, right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, Sean Devaney from Sporting News, breaking down the NBA, and our boy Dan Strafford from Daily Fantasy Insiders. That's correct, right, Dan?
Yeah, fantasyinsiders.com.
Fantasyinsiders.com. All right, perfect. Guys, you've been really cool, man. I really enjoy this kind of little round table NBA thing we got going on right now because, we've been really stacking our roster with some really good NBA guys, and you guys are definitely part of the team, that's for sure.
No doubt, definitely.
It's really nice just to kind of hear, just expert opinions and all that. So what I'm going to do right now is, obviously, the Dream and I got to finish out the show. First of all, Dan, you started out with us, so we're going to let you go first. Can you tell everybody where to find you as far as social media and what you're doing as far as your show and all that good stuff, please?
Absolutely. The podcast we run is out Monday through Friday by about 7:30, 8 a.m. It covers top plays in NFL and in the NBA. You can find me on Twitter at Dan Strafford. Pretty straightforward there. And we continue to have our Spreecast, which is a live video show Thursday and Friday for the NFL at 5 p.m. Eastern and 11 p.m. Thursday nights for college football.
All right, fantastic. Dan, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to getting you back on, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. Have a good one. All right, Sean, we are over to you from the sporting news. Like I said, great having you on and looking forward to getting you back on and bringing you as part of the team at the SBTV Nation. So can you tell everybody where to find you as far as social media and, where you're featured and all that good stuff, please?
Yeah, I'm at sportingnews.com. If you go to the NBA section, you'll find me. Of course, there's lots of other good writers there as well. But on social media, find me at Sean Devaney, and that Sean is Sean. So at Sean Devaney on Twitter and just sportingnews.com on our regular website.
All right, fantastic. And guys, what we did was we actually tagged Sean and Dan in the tweet that just went out to the SBTV Nation. So in case you didn't catch that, you could see what their names are on the tweet that we sent out. And Sean, thank you very much once again for joining us, and look forward to getting you back on soon.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. It was a lot of fun.
All right, thank you, Sean. Take care. All right, Dream. That was pretty kick-ass, man.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. I like going just back and forth with some experts, man. You know what I mean? Kind of just breaks it up a little bit and just kind of hear what, other people's perspectives. And, having Dan with the fantasy spin and then, Sean.
Nice element. Very nice touch.
Sean's out at the games and, reporting all this stuff and all that. So, hey, NBA is in full swing, guys. Just so you know, man. So what we got, Dream, we got a lot to talk about here still.
Let's talk.
First things first, man, is I'm going to get some different music on, a little request by you, because
that man is just slipping return to the mat still. The ultimate wedding song.
The ultimate wedding song, man. I'm going to start playing the Macarena on here. How about that? And by the way, Dream, I mean, listen, you know what? It was really nice to get these guys on and to give me a little shot to look at everything that's coming through our page right now with the hashtag.
It was so crazy because Freaky Friday, by the way, is going bananas. And I'm on here trying to talk straight and not go, give
Freaky
Cash
Friday
shout-outs
is
for what
off
they're
the
sending.
hook right now, my
No
lord.
doubt.
OJFB is definitely rocking, dude.
He didn't win him. I don't know what happened. He didn't win. Took his team in the lab.
Dude, OJFB is on a mission today, man.
He took his team in the lab, got audibles and everything ready. They running a new spread. He's running a spread offense.
A spread offense. Wow. Absolutely, man. So we didn't even talk about the another call that you made yesterday was the Cincinnati Bengals, man. Congratulations on that. You even plugged them saying give 9.5 on that. So yesterday, man, everything kind of went through. Everything went through except
for the doggone Kings, man.
Kings at the end. Unbelievable. Ended up blowing it up. But I ended up closing out my night with the San Jose Sharks. And that was a laugher. They started out 2-0 right out the gate, man. I was laughing and just having a good time. Then it was 4-2, and before you know it, the game was over, and Prescott went ham for Mississippi State, and just was a great night. But
no doubt.
Right.
I mean, you did a fantastic job yesterday as well, because you had San Jose. You also had Montreal. You talked about the Canadians a little bit.
The Habs.
And the Habs. I'm sorry.
Yep.
You also talked about Mississippi State. I wasn't the biggest fan of that game, but I wasn't playing it. And I really did like K-State plus the 17. I did really like that, just based on, just feeling like there'd be some jitters with the new quarterback, maybe a couple of mistakes, and maybe they would keep him a little bit tighter than normal, and then knowing that, K-State was home, plus all those points. I thought that was a good spot for them.
Well, yeah, man, 17 points. You were laughing the whole game.
Yep, for the most part.
For the most part. I mean, when you were down 21-10, it was kind of like a little scary. But for the most part, anybody that was on the dog yesterday ended up doing their thing. And taking a look at this, there's one other NBA matchup that you're going to kind of think I'm crazy with a couple of these, actually. I think the New York Knicks beat the Bucks tonight, bro.
Ooh. You guys in that Knick team, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna stay away from it. I wasn't gonna play it anyway. Not that I'm playing it, but I'm gonna stay away from it as far as an opinion, because I just don't. I gotta see some more out of the Knicks. You may be right, because I know Milwaukee is not all that, but I still don't like this. I'm not the biggest fan of this Knicks team.
Milwaukee's brutal.
Yeah, I know.
Milwaukee's brutal. And when have you seen the New York Knicks, the Knickerbockers, favored?
That means nothing to me.
It's been a minute, right?
You got Brooklyn's favorite tonight, too, by the way, which I think is ridiculous.
I love we're diving deep into the nastiest games on the board here, man.
Hey, but nasty, but you gotta, I mean, there's a possibility there. Like you said, if you like the Knicks, you got a bad Bucks team coming in, so it's an opportunity to pounce. And I told you that this Brooklyn team is one of the worst teams in the league, and the Lakers need to win worse than ever. So there are two spots that you might be able to jump on. Now, listen, obviously, guys, beginning of hoop season, there is no reason, and you should not at any point be going ham with any type of these numbers. Obviously, you want to keep your numbers as low as possible, and, don't go crazy because these games are a little bit on the nasty side.
Well, that's number one. Number two is that Friday nights seem to have a lot of intangibles, Dream, as far as the NBA is concerned. Friday nights just seem a little crazy to me. I don't know what it is. It's just my history of being involved in the NBA. And you and I have talked about this before. Friday nights just seem a little crazy.
Yeah, but I've always had a lot of success on Friday night. I don't know why. I've had a lot of success on Friday nights. Very few with the NBA. Very few Friday nights in the NBA have I been upset.
Oh, got it, man. All right. And there's one other game that I'm taking a look at here, and that is the Cleveland Cavs and my boy LeBron going to be out there tearing off his shirt again. I don't know if you saw that, man. He's like ripping his sleeves apart. It was all like probably, going up underneath his arms or whatever. But they are playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and the 76ers are 0-4, and Cleveland is a 15-point favorite, and I think Cleveland wins by 20 or more tonight. I think so, Dream.
Really?
Yeah. You know what?
20 or more.
Philly has played them tough in the last matchup that they played, and Philly always plays them tough when it's in Philadelphia. But coming into Cleveland, I think Cleveland just kills them tonight.
All right. Well, hey, I mean, you got a better feel for them than I do. Yeah. Even though I do love Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. Don't really know Philly's obviously bad. But, it's one of these too easy-looking games. Like, I don't expect that Cleveland's going to lose by any chance. I just don't know about them covering their spread. So, that's just my opinion on that.
My man Marlon is talking about a Knicks-Lakers parlay. That just sounds
don't do that.
crazy.
Don't get yourself thrown out the bar tonight, player.
Yeah. Can you please put on the Knickerbockers?
You know what I'm saying? And the Lakers. Cats be like,
can I get the TV set up where I got Lake Show and the Knickerbockers on whatever? Meantime, everybody else is trying to watch the junky college football on. You know what I'm saying?
Having Cats irate. And speaking of college football, we do have some games tonight, so why don't we just cruise on over there?
We could cruise on over there, man. We have 1, 2, 3 games on the ticket. Probably I don't want to say this is the best one, but it's probably the best team on the board as far as the 6 teams that are participating in the 3 games tonight. You got Temple University, the Owls, are going into SMU Ski, the Southern Methodist Mustangs. And Temple's 7-1, 4-0 away at the 1-7 SMU Mustangs. Temple's minus 13.5 with an under-over of 51-point stream.
Yes, sir.
Home team underdog on prime time.
So we just got to take SMU, right?
No. Well, it worked with K-State last night.
Go get them.
It worked with K-State last night. But taking a look at this, I mean, Temple is obviously superior in pretty much everything here. SMU did hang with Houston for a little while there.
Right.
Ended up getting blown out at the end. I don't like the matchup. SMU has lost 6 straight games, Dream.
SMU is brutal, son. There's no way. Do not even think about messing with SMU. Home team, away team, prime time, nobody watching. Do not take SMU versus Temple. I'm just not the biggest fan of that. Now, here's the deal, though. You don't want to also give 13 points with Temple either.
No, of course not. Of course not. You get that last-minute touchdown or whatever. I mean, here's one thing that I am looking at, though. Temple's defense is pretty damn good, man. They only give up just under 16 points a game defensively, 15.8 to be exact. And SMU Ski gives up almost 40 34 points defensively a game, Dream. That's a lot. Temple's not an offensive juggernaut. They're only averaging about 31 points a game. So this is a game, dude. I don't think anybody's got any business getting involved in this one, man.
I don't agree. I agree. No, I agree with you that you shouldn't get involved in it, but we know our guys are probably. So that being said, I think you got to get Temple, and you got to get them down to at least minus. I think you're safe at 9.5 again. I think you can get this down to 9.5 and you'll be good. If you want a little bit more insurance to get it to 6.5, put this in one of those big teasers. You could even, play around with one of those 10 or 11 point teasers and then have Temple at a field goal, which will be probably really under a field goal, which would probably be
you'd have to like really buy it like to like 11 because it's 13.5.
That's why I said an 11-point teaser. One of those 11-point teasers leave 5 spots open or 4 spots open and get involved in a bunch of games tomorrow, and then you'll have 11 points to play with. You also, if you do that too, BYU's on at 11:30, so you could maybe even throw them in and have them at a pick'em situation too. So you got 2 pieces of the puzzle filled in.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's the Rice Owls at Texas El Paso, which I know Ralph Cooper's going to ask you about tonight on Houston radio. You already know that. He likes to throw curveballs at us, so you're going to have to do a little homework on that one. Rice -7 with an under-over of 57. And then you've got BYU coming into San Jose State Spartans. BYU -13. San Jose is the under-over there is 56.5, and you're looking at it. San Jose State 4-4, BYU 6-2. Nasty games, man. I have no interest in these games tonight, Dream.
Well, I like BYU to beat San Jose State. I want to tell you that they're going to cover their spread, but I'm going to fall back just a little bit as they're on the road. Like I said, it'd be a great opportunity to probably mix with Temple if you go after one of those 10-point teasers or even 11 points. It'd be a great spot to put BYU in. I think BYU for sure wins the game. And they need to, and they should win in impressive fashion. I kind of almost want to say I don't really have a problem with giving the 12.5.
Ooh, God.
Dude, San Jose State is not even nowhere near.
Team, though, man.
It's not. They're not on par with BYU, brother.
All right. Well,
and BYU needs to, they need to come out and get their legs back under them, so to say. So, yeah, I kind of like BYU. Wow.
My man AZ Wildcat 83 just sent out last week's winner. The 2-piece in the snow.
Yep.
That one already won, brother, but I would definitely look at that 100 times, man. So feel free, guys, to, repost any of the creme de la creme, man, as far as Freaky Friday is concerned. Using the hashtag SBTVNation, we are flying high this morning on Twitter and rocking and rolling, guys.
Hey, guys, I don't know if you're paying attention, but hopefully they got your attention finally. The Cincinnati Bengals are in the house.
Undefeated, man.
The Cincinnati Bengals are in the house. They're the undefeated team that nobody's talking about. Everybody's talking about how dope the Patriots are and they can go undefeated. Everybody's talking about Peyton Ball's arm and how dope the Denver defense is, and they could, do whatever they got to do. And everybody's talking about how they can't believe that Killer Cam is undefeated, but I got something to talk about that this weekend. And nobody's talking about the Cincinnati Bengals and what they're doing because they're just quietly over there just beating everybody and beating some of the better teams and then laying a smackdown. That's what I wanted to see last night. And even though it wasn't really a total annihilation, as Dr. Dan will put it, I liked seeing what I saw out of Cincinnati handling a team that's way under their level, going out on their home field and holding it down and handling it and getting that win. And big ups to them on that little thing that they did last night because I really like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, they did win by 3 touchdowns, though, Dream.
Yes, they did.
So anybody that was in a 10-point teaser situation, it probably pushed, considering that it was 31-10, guys. Moving over to the ice stream, there's a couple of games on my radar here, and I would like to talk about the late one first. I'm looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have been a pain in the ass the last couple of games, man. They've won the last 2 games. They are 4-10, but they're coming into the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. And the Ducks are 2-9, kid. Woo! Damn.
All over this scenario with you.
The Ducks are minus 155 with an under-over of 5.5 goals. You think that the Ducks finally get the job done here and beat up on a bad team?
I'm all over this situation. As we talked about the Ducks being improved, and we talked about the Ducks picking up and maybe getting their season started in the way it's supposed to be going or should have been going in the first place. I absolutely like this spot for the Ducks. They got a and then, you know, the other thing is the Blue Jackets played last night, and they won last night, so they're probably feeling themselves a little bit coming into Anaheim. I really like Anaheim tonight.
Like Anaheim, huh? Okay, man. I'm still thinking about that Knicks play. Oh, man, NBA is going to be popping tonight. Looking at the ice as far as the rest of them here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on the ticket. Let's see. Here's my Dallas Stars team, man. 10-3 coming into Carolina, the Hurricanes. Dallas is minus 135 with an under-over of 5.5. Looks like most of the action is on Dallas right now. The line is kind of going up, moving away from their favor. What do you think of this Dallas Stars team, man? You think they're going to make a run? I'll tell you right now, there's a couple of teams that are on my radar, but talk to me about Dallas, man. What's your thoughts?
Dallas is dope. I talked to you about them before. They're a good team. They play fast. I like their passing. They score a lot of points. However, I don't like messing with a lot of hockey teams. I like the home hockey teams. I don't really like hockey teams on the road. The Stars, I believe, this is like game number 3 of a pretty kind of long road trip right now.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I think you got to go back and look, but I think this is the 3rd game. I know they started off.
Yeah, they got 2. They just played in Toronto, in Boston. They're at Carolina, and then they got to go to Detroit. And then but they're going to have a day off in between their next home game with Toronto coming into their building. But yeah, man, I mean the good news about hockey now is that they're spreading it out. Like the travel days, like you had, at Toronto, at Boston. Obviously, Canada and Boston are not too far away from each other. But then you've got, they're giving them 2 days off before going into Carolina. So
yeah, but even when we had the coach on, I forget his name. I'm sorry,
Marco Sturm.
Marco Sturm, he was telling us that the road trips are still, it's still taxing on them. So that being said, I'm going to stay away from this particular matchup tonight. I don't really like that matchup that much anyway. It's one of those looks too easy. I would think that the Stars would win, but it's just something that I wouldn't want to get involved with financially.
All right, man. And when you take a look at that as far as the fantasy ticket is concerned, I like this kid, Jason Spezza. He's pretty good.
Okay.
And, Tyler Seguin obviously is my boy.
No doubt.
Had the hat trick last time and helped me emerge in my contest, man. And when you take a look at this, those are basically the 2 guys, and obviously their goalie, Niemi, there as well. He's pretty good as well. So he gets a lot of points for us. What ends up happening sometimes is I end up having like 3 or 4 players from one team out of 10. It's kind of nuts, man. So it's almost like you just want that team to go ham. You know what I mean? So it works out pretty well for me at times. I don't ever worry about having more than 2 players per team on my fantasy lineup, guys, because if that team decides to win like 5-2 or 6-1 or even 4-2 or something like that, you end up with a lot of points, man. So keep that in the back of your brains when you are playing daily fantasy, man. So looking at this here, you're not feeling the Stars. Anything else?
Yes, I do like the Rangers tonight. The Rangers are going in to play the Avalanche, and you guys know I don't really like to take road teams, but this Avalanche team, it's just like they can't, I don't know, they can't get out of their own way, and Rangers are playing at a really high level this year. Now, I don't love this game. I mean, my game of preference is definitely the Ducks. I really like Ducks tonight, but a small lean, I do like the Rangers, and I don't like any of the other games, so I really love the Ducks, and then there'd be a really small lean. I like the Rangers to go in and beat the Avalanche.
Rangers are averaging just over 3 goals a game, where Colorado is 2.69. The Rangers, in goal, they've been really good, man.
Yes.
1.92 goals per game allowed. So, our boys doing it over there, man. Definitely. So, all right, man. So that pretty much does it for the ice. I don't see anything else that's tickling my fancy, Dream.
Nope, me neither.
All right, so that's going to do it for the show. We had to run a little bit later because we started late, guys.
We did start late, unfortunately, and we're sorry we had technical difficulties, but we got past that, and I think we gave you guys a stellar presentation of what's up.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we're going to close out and get out of here, man, and we're going to get ready for Houston Radio tonight, brother.
Oh, no doubt. And by the way, guys, in case you guys are interested, we will be back on the ones and twos again tonight at 6:15 Eastern Standard Time, helped out by Direct Sports Solution for getting us together with Ralph Cooper at KCOH 12:30 a.m. at Houston Radio. We'll be back on there. We mostly talk about a little bit of everything, as always, because we always want to run our mouths. But not only that, but we do give out a lot of what's going on as far as Houston is concerned. The Texas team we are heavily involved in. So I usually get finished right now, go to the gym, then come back and start doing homework on all the Texas team matchups as far as college is concerned. Then we get a little bit into the pro, and it's just a fun, good time. A little bit different pace than this show, but it's a good time as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So taking a look at this, Dream, Freaky Friday is going bananas right now.
Bananas.
And OJFB just came in with something crazy, man. Looking at SBTV Nation, the hashtag. Let me pull that up and see what we got. He got better ones than that, though. That one's
no, I like, but some of that one. I'm loving that.
Got my man Jeff Ryan rocking too, by the way. Just so you know, there has been hundreds of pictures today.
No, we stepped. Everybody decided to really step it up their level today. Oh, I love this last one that he said. Wow.
Is that your winner?
That's my dude. That's my winner.
See, you like blondes.
I don't. Well, he got another blonde in the dress that's good. No, this whole thing, that backside is just bananas.
That's your size?
Oh, God, is it ever.
All right. So is that your boy, man, OJFB?
I think I got to let OJ. I got I love he's going. I love the way ham at the end, like he's in a sprint. It's like he was, at the end of the race where you hit the 100-meter mark, the 50-meter mark, and decide I'm gonna just turn it up a notch to try to outpace everybody. He just hitting us with left and rights at the end.
I can't forget about Angelo Nunes out there as well.
Angelo Nunes definitely doing his thing.
Oh my God, Tip Talker's out there, Irvin's out there. There is a lot of people just whacking us this morning with all kinds of madness, kid. I love it. And what we're looking to do, Dream, is, that we're building the website.
No doubt.
We're looking to incorporate Freaky Friday into the website.
Right.
Just going to leave it at that. Man. So, hey, you know what? It may be freaky Monday through Friday, dude, at that point. You know what I'm saying? And we will go from there, guys. So, Dream, what are you on tonight?
Hey, I am right now looking at a couple of things. I'm not obviously going crazy. I got something this weekend that I really, really, really like on Sunday. So obviously everything's just a little starter kit for Sunday. But as of right now, I really love the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. It's like one of my favorite. And guys, some of you guys know, if you guys got involved with any of that open money line parlay stuff, this is probably a good spot to close. One of those spots will be the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I really like them tonight. That's the only particular matchup that I really like. I got a couple of small leans. Like I told you, last on my list is the Lake Show, and obviously that's with a grain of salt. And I do also like the New York Rangers.
All right, sounds good. And, speaking of nasty basketball games, because the LA Lake Show does sound pretty nasty, but I'm feeling the New York Knickerbockers, man.
All right.
I think they're going to get the job done. I think Milwaukee Bucks are one of the worst teams in the NBA, and I just think that the Knicks are going to be either a close to 500, or just a touch better than 500 this year and be a lot better than they were with their 17-win season last year, man. So that's pretty much it. That's what I'm looking at, Tree. And we will go from there. Who's retweeting our show this morning?
No doubt. We got Jay Gotts out there, Lewis Carter, Direct Sports Solution, Terrence Mack, Booze and Bets, JDH24, Shy Picks is out there. Shy, hope your mom is doing well, as we have all sent prayers and wishes out there, making hopefully everything's going good for you. MG86 out there, Louis Salazar, Newman, Ciroc King J, Vegas Girl 92661 had her operation and she's feeling much better. So just keep you guys updated on that. Send her a couple of prayers and best wishes as well. Fast Eddie 72, Key MVU, Razor Ramon, Benjamin Rowe, OJFB. This week's Freaky Friday winner is OJFB for the stellar job he did. And obviously, guys, you all did a great job. There is no loser on Freaky Friday, especially when I'm concerned. But we got to give the nod to OJFB this week. JC's out there, J Cass, MC Money, Tip Talker, AB Lent, Pete for Prez, Marlon, Prestige Worldwide, Jeff Ryan, Joseph Del Rosario, Rick Lopez, Long Woo, Smokey Rodriguez, Swooper Sports Locks, Notorious Dub B51 Christos, the Canadian Capper, Angelo Nunez, Jason Riley, Soupy Betts, Jordy Best as well. Guys, have you sent out the shirt? Have the guys gotten their shirts yet?
All the addresses are collected, the shirts are in, and they are going in the mail by Monday. So by the end of next week, by Freaky Friday of next week, everybody will have their T-shirts. And guys, when you get your T-shirts, or any of the females that get tank tops, send us a photo of you in the apparel, and we will post it on our social media, and 194 countries worldwide will see your image with the T-shirt on.
And for the guys, if you want to have, like, you know, a female get in your shirt and send that pic too,
that's not a bad idea.
Don't be afraid to do that either. But, you know, I know how it is. Some of you guys, listen, I know how it is as far as the significant other and having a picture on Twitter. So if you're not cool with it, I get it. I understand. You know, I was put in a situation a few months ago where somebody had a picture, you know, of my significant other, who she loved it because she loves having her picture out everywhere anyway. She was like, oh, what's wrong? So I was like, all good. But we get it. So like I said, it's not necessary, not mandatory. Just a thought. If you don't want to do it, maybe have, you know, her in it or whatever, you know, feel free. We're there. Obviously, our community is respectful of it, but be cognizant that you got others out there playing hating from the sidelines. That being said, guys, I am the Dream. 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're back again on KCOH tonight. If you want to hear our madness one more time, make the most of each and every day, as you cannot get this time back. Thank you so much for your support and listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely, man. A couple of other people that are retweeting us. We got RSI Picks, we got Total Sports Edge, and AZ Wildcat 83 as well, guys. So we are out there every single day. We'll be back on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about college football, and we got a very special guest, Mr. Dennis Dodd, calling in from CBS Sports to break down some of the action as far as the collegiate football, because there are a hell of a lot of good matchups. Tomorrow you got TCU, Oklahoma State. We got LSU Ski versus Bama. We got some other big ones to talk about tomorrow, and very excited about it, Dream.
No doubt. It's definitely a great matchup, great weekend, and then Sunday we got a bomb for you.
Yes, we love you to death. Go out there, go easy, do your own homework, take your own plays, make all your dreams a damn reality, and get that money. Let's go.